Good evening, my name is Peter Parker and welcome to the 9 o'clock news. The big problem about agriculture in Southern Europe is the need of money. It pays off to do farming because they earn more money than they use on producing water and farming. But the only way it works for a country to do farming is if the country has the economy to buy or produce water. Basically, more money means more water, which means more power. How do we cut down the water consumption?
In the South European countries, irrigation is required as a result of the dry climate. At Crete, they introduced a new rescue service for irrigation. The service informs the farmers by text when the crops need water, and it can contribute to a better quality of the water which is available of other users in an effective manner. Use of inorganic and organic fertilizers and pesticides can now solve many of the problems of agricultural water pollution. Besides, in the whole of Europe, a significant potential of improving the water quality with little to no more productivity. Where do we get the water from?
Well, from some statistics that I saw, it was about 60% of our water that we use for farming that came from surface water, and about 30% that came from groundwater, and around 5% that came from other sources like distillation and other stuff.
And what do you use your water for?
Well, the most of my water I use for watering my fields, it's about 80%, and the rest I use for my animals, like drinking water.
But how can we in the future farm without the nature having a thirst for water?
Right now there is no solution to this problem, but by removing the salt from the salt water and using that, we have a pretty good chance of using less water.
purification of the water?
Well, right now Spain is actually the first country to have this new technology where they use some membranes to purify the water. So they use sulfur from the sea to purify it and take out the salt so we can use it as drinking water and fountain water. And Spain is the first country to do this in all of Europe. And right now we have 500 of these purification stations around Spain, and those purification stations, those 500, they make around 700 billion liters of water every year.
What other options is there to get water that we can use?
97% of all water on Earth is seawater, which means you can't drink it. At the same time, a lot of people don't have enough water. This counts for both drinking and farming. That's why it would be very useful to convert seawater into fresh water, so that we can use it. It is possible to do it. Some of the warm countries like Australia and the Arab oil states do it. But what keeps the rest of the world from doing this? First of all, it is a very expensive and energy intensive method. Also, the new water look a lot like distilled water. Even though the water is missing some of the minerals the groundwater has, because it is filtered through the ground. The groundwater is, in other words, better quality than the desalinated water. Challenges can there be?
When we look into the future, there's a possibility that there isn't enough water to cover the ecosystem's needs. Also, economy can be a big problem, with both the need of money to buy water and the need of money to transport the water.
That was all for tonight, and we will see you next Saturday.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
And pesticides can solve many of the problems. In the South European countries, irrigation is required as a
Go.
In the South European countries, irrigation is required.
Det er det nu. 3. Are you ready, boys?
Performs the
Du skal da fortsætte, mand.
Jeg kan ikke, når han griner.
Han griner ikke, han smiler bare.
Fertilizers. Hvad er det, du sagde, det hed?
Hvad helvede det er?
Du er virkelig bare en mammut. Det er.
Jeg mangler lige din skildpadde.
Just chill. Kom nu! This informs the farmers by a text. Og hvorfor griner du?
Oh my fucking god, Lea.
What? Vi kan jo ikke bruge det der, hvis den står og griner.
Han smiler.
Came from groundwater.
Ej, jeg slikkede til det, vi lavede det. Det kan vi ikke bruge. Back to say well.
From some statistics, okay?
Used for water.
Du slikker dig lige af.
Ja, så det er en dame, jeg har, hvor jeg stikker over på læben.
Det gør altså. Marlea. You like what you see?
Well.
Oh.
Ja.
Hov.
Okay, han kan jo ikke skule til mig allerede inden vi vil...
Dammit, man kan bare sige